Good day, retro gaming fans, and welcome back to another episode from Rehab Gaming. So what we have here is a SEGA Genesis controller, and as you can see, this controller cord at the end of the strain relief has actually split, and we're going to go ahead and fix this issue in this episode. So stay tuned, and we'll get right at it. Alright, so similar to the Super Nintendo controller that we fixed on another episode, we're going to go ahead and use the factory controller cable for this Sega Genesis controller, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of cutting and splicing. So for this project, what you're going to need is you're going to need a soldering iron, some desoldering braid, some flux, of course some solder. And the process that we're going to use in order to fix this issue is we're going to cut off the bad section of cable, we're going to pull the strain relief off the cable, and then once we get the strain relief off, we have to get all of the cable covering from inside of that strain relief out, and then we're going to stick our wire back down through the strain relief into the controller and solder it to the main board. So for starters, in order to crack one of these open, we'll go ahead and flip it over. And you'll notice 6 screws on the backhand side of the controller. These 6 screws are going to be a Phillips head screw, and you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver in order to get them out. So we'll go ahead and take these screws out and open up this controller. Now that we got all 6 screws out of the back of the controller, we can go ahead and separate the controller halves. We'll go ahead and pull the strain relief out of the controller back, pull the main board out, and we'll set both of the halves off to the side. Now we have done a video of us restoring a Sega Genesis controller where we took it all apart, cleaned up all the contact pads, soaked the controller pieces in warm soapy water along with the buttons, and got it all cleaned up and looking good. So if you'd like to know how to do that, go ahead and refer to that video before watching this. So we're going to skip all of that for this episode, and we're going to get straight down to how we repair this controller cable and make it look almost like it never happened. In order to get the strain relief separated from the controller sheathing, what I like to use is, for starters, I take this pick type tool and I stick it down in between the sheathing and the strain relief on the backhand side and work loose the sheathing from the strain relief here, and then I use a flathead screwdriver just to try and get down in there and separate these component layers itself, and then I break the sheathing here on the backhand side, and since it's already broken on this side, then all we'll have to do is desolder these main leads from the main board and then pull the main leads through after we cut off the leads that are actually crimped on to the backhand side of the wires. So these leads actually have a crimped metal tab on each one of the conductors right here that is soldered to the board. Now, it is extremely difficult in order to try and get these crimped tabs off of the wires and reuse them. So what we're going to do is we're not going to worry about reusing these crimped pieces. We're actually just going to use the conductor itself and solder it straight to the main board. So during this process, I'm going to go ahead and desolder all of these from the main board, and I'll be right back. So we went ahead and desoldered all of these pins from the controller main board, snipped off the wires where those pins were attached to, and we're able to slide off the strain relief. Now, as you can see with this strain relief, you still have a little bit of the sheathing for the controller cable inside of that strain relief. So what we need to do now is we need to get that out of there. Now, what I like to use is a drill bit about the size of the diameter of this hole for the strain relief, and I put my drill on slow, and then I put this onto the drill bit, and I auger out the remainder of the sheathing from the inside of here, since it's bonded to the strain relief itself, so we can easily slip it back on the controller cable that we're going to reuse. Now, I do want to mention that whenever you're doing this, take a picture of the back side of the PCB so you know which conductors go into which hole, so you can refer to that when you're ready to put the conductors back on to the board and solder them in place. What I've done is I've taken the strain relief, used the drill bit to auger out all of the sheathing from inside of the strain relief, and what I did was I let the drill bit go in, grab onto the sheathing, and then I pulled it off of the drill bit. As it was bringing pieces of the sheathing out, what I'd like to do is use a pair of tweezers to go inside here and just pluck all those pieces out, and all of the sheathing should come out in fairly decent sized pieces. It is bonded a little bit to the strain relief itself, so as long as you're able to get in there with the drill bit and get all of the sheathing out, you won't run into any issues of when you try and put the cable back into the strain relief, the cable not going and getting hung up on whatever sheathing would be left over inside. So you want to make sure that this strain relief is totally clean from any of the sheathing from when you pulled it out, and then we'll move to the next step where we're going to put the strain relief back onto the controller cable. So what I like to do is I like to twist these wires together in order to get them in a nice tight bundle, and then hold it very close to the end, and then feed the conductors through the strain relief so they come out the other side. And then once the sheathing hits the strain relief, you can go ahead and keep rotating it in order to get the strain relief over top of the sheathing. So when you first start, make sure all of your conductors go through like this. And then once you get down here to the sheathing, you're going to have to use a little bit of pressure, and you're going to have to rotate this strain relief a little bit so you can put the cable all the way through to the backhand side of the strain relief. Don't pull on these wires right here when you're trying to do it, because what you'll end up doing is you'll pull the wires through the sheathing, and you'll end up pulling more tension on the wires themselves. So in order to assist you getting the strain relief back onto the sheathing, you can use a plastic safe lubricant in order to do this, and it'll make it a little easier while you're trying to get the strain relief back on. Once you get the strain relief on, what I like to do is I like to push it down a little further than what would be normally necessary. That way, when I'm going back through trying to reassemble the controller, it's nothing at all in order to pull the strain relief forward in order to take up some of this slack. Now, what I like to do is I like to have a minimum an inch of your conductors exposed in order to have enough to work with, and you can actually use whatever slack you have in your conductors after you solder it to this board and stick it down inside of the controller, and these conductors will go on the backhand side, and it shouldn't interfere with anything. So when you are ready to start soldering back on, what you're going to need to do is first, all of these little cotton strands, you're going to have to cut those off at the end of the sheathing. These cotton strands help eliminate or minimize the stress on the conductors themselves when this controller cable has some pull applied to it, and instead of it just supporting the cable itself by the conductors themselves, this cotton strand right here gives support to relieve the pressure that would be applied to these conductors. And when it gets mounted inside the controller, it snakes through a couple of posts, and those posts help clamp this cable into the backside of the controller in order to act as an anchor point where these themselves are transferring the stress from the pulling of the cable to the actual controller housing. When you're ready to de-sheathe the individual conductors themselves, what I like to do is I like to look at these pins here and see how much space that you have in between the pin and the sheathing of the conductor, and I use that as a guide so I can cut the proper length of sheathing back from the wire itself, and that's about how much you're just going to need in order to go through the board and solder it back into place. I'm going to go ahead and strip these individual conductors, get them all pre-tinned, and then we'll get them ready to solder back onto this board. Another thing to note while you're stripping the individual conductors themselves, let's see if I can get it to focus a little better up here. Come on. So I don't know if you can tell, but there's a white little tail right there. That's actually going to be part of a cotton strand that is another form of strain relief for the individual conductors themselves. So you're going to need to make sure that when you are stripping the conductors, go ahead and trim that off. That way it's not going to be contaminating your wire while you're tinning it and trying to solder it into place. And once you're done tinning up all your wires, they're going to look like this, and they're going to be ready to be soldered back into their proper place on this main board. So what I'm going to do is, since this takes a little while because of the dexterity required holding each individual conductor in place while you're soldering in, I'm going to go ahead and solder these in off camera, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Alrighty, so we got all the conductors fed through to their proper place on the board, got them soldered into place, and what I want you to remember, especially when you're soldering, when you see a shiny solder joint, that means that that solder joint was properly wetted and that there is good adhesion between the conductor and whatever pad that you soldered that conductor to. And also, while you're doing this project, it is always a good idea to clean your tip before every single conductor that you solder to ensure that you don't have any oxidation or any gunk on your solder tip that's preventing you from getting a good solder connection, and also it prevents from introducing gunk into your solder joint that could actually weaken it in the end. So since we got all of this soldered back into place, what we need to do now is clean up this main board and get all of the flux off of here. That way we don't run into issues later on down the road with the flux eating into the PCB or eating any of this solder mask off of the board. And in order to ensure that you got really good solder joints and that it's making a good connection to the board, what I like to do is I like to take my multimeter and I like to put one probe in the end of the controller cable, put the other probe on top of your fresh solder joint that you applied onto the board, and make sure you have continuity. And then after that, what I like to do is move down, follow the trace to the next connection or component on the board wherever that lead goes to, and make sure that you have continuity to that connection as well. That's just a tip that I use in order to make sure that my solder joints are secure and that they're making a proper connection to whatever circuit that that conductor is supposed to be going to. So we got all the plastic parts all cleaned up. They were soaking in some warm soapy dishwater while I was repairing the controller cable, and now it's all ready for assembly. So we're going to go ahead and stick the back buttons back in of the controller. Make sure they go exactly where they're supposed to be. Take the start button, stick it back in, and our D-pad. Then we will take our carbon button contacts and drop them back into place. Now it's all ready for assembly. So we'll go ahead and take our board, being very careful not to disrupt these conductors, and we're going to manage this cable right here, and we're going to loop it around, and after we got that in set where we want it to be, we'll go ahead and slide down our strain relief so we can get that set into place as well. To make sure that we don't put any strain on these conductors right here, since they're soldered directly into the board, what I like to do is route the end of the wire underneath the PCB board, put it through the post and routing it around like it's supposed to be. And what this does is over time, the board will actually help hold the wire into place, and it won't put any tension on any of these conductors here, and you won't have any breaks later on. So we'll go ahead and slide down the strain relief, get it into place, and then we'll get the back of the controller on it. So we got the strain relief slid down, got it put into place where we can get the back of the controller onto the controller itself. So we'll go ahead and hold the PCB board into place, drop the back of the controller on here, and press down just to make sure that it seats properly. And there you have it, she's all put back together. So when I'm putting this controller pad back together, especially since there's going to be a lot of tension here on this controller cable, what I like to do is I like to press down right on top of the SEGA label, put these 2 screws in first, send them in, and then make sure I get them tight, and then I work my way out, and then I put these 2 bottom screws in, and then lastly I put these in. The reason why I do it that way is so since this cable has a lot of tension on it, these 2 screws are going to hold this cable into place, and it's going to keep the shelf from trying to pop up from the pressure of the cable pushing up against it, since it needs to redevelop a memory with the winding that it goes in there for the support for that cable going out to the strain relief. So put these in first. Put these in second so it helps line up the entire controller body and you get it into place, and then put these 2 in last, and then just snug them down to where you have at least 2 fingers of torque onto your driver, and make sure you don't over tighten them so you don't strip out these holes. We got this controller cable all fixed up. It looks like it is perfect. Doesn't look like it whatsoever that it has been worked on or replaced or has anything been done to the strain relief. It goes in, the sheathing doesn't bind up in here. The strain relief is nice and tight. You don't see any of the leftover sheathing from the old part of the cable that we had to take off out the inside of the strain relief. It seats up very well right here inside of the controller housing. The 2 halves have sandwiched together perfectly and aligned perfectly. And then give it a good test. And she's solid as a rock. So now that project is all done and taken care of, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and joining us today as we did that cable repair fix on this SEGA Genesis controller. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. And if you'd like to see more similar videos where we take legacy game devices, whether it's controllers, consoles, or games, get them all cleaned up, fixed up, and do some repairs on them to make them look just like they did when they came out from the factory, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Also, we have our own Facebook page where we will be putting out information on content that is coming up on our channel, some video ideas, maybe some series ideas that you can look forward to here in the next close future. And also, there are a few groups that we are associated with on our Facebook page where you can get in contact with other gaming enthusiasts relating to your specific system. Maybe try and get that game that you've been trying to locate for your collection, or if you just need a little bit of help or some advice on how to get your stuff put back together, cleaned up, and working like new again. So, without further ado, thank you for stopping by, and we hope you have a wonderful day.